There is something inherently creepy about cults, so it's a natural setting for film meant to make the audience uneasy about the strange goings-on. Opus tries to explore the idea of cults, now people are drawn to their customs, but unfortunately does not say much of anything. Even when there remains a bit of intrigue about what is revealed, what we find out is not all that thought-provoking. What we get is a movie that surprisingly plays things safe, and the characters all just fit into basic archetypes without fleshing them out, with a payoff that especially leaves one disappointed. As the journalist invited to witness this cult, Ayo Edebiri does fine enough in the lead role. She depicts Ariel's confusion and skepticism of this cult, but the character feels largely underwritten. Most of her scenes involve her asking the other guests if they also find what's been happening to be odd, and despite being a journalist, she does not even do much investigating into the disappearances and other bizarre occurrences. Other characters, like her boss and the television host, are merely made gullible and easily swayed by John Malkovich's cult leader, and that's the extent to which they're developed. The world building surrounding Alfred Moretti, this cult leader and famous musician, is somewhat created. There's an obvious inspiration from Jared Leto's infamous island getaways and potential cult, along the way of famous artists' eccentricities are accepted by society. However, outside of his oddball behavior, the movie barely scratches the surface, and Malkovich is mostly directed just makes strange sounds and movements. However, through enough of Opus, there's at least some curiosity about what exactly will be revealed about this cult and its members and what that ultimate plan is. Eventually, it's clear that the film is not saying anything new or revolutionary about cults, or even much of anything beyond the bare minimum and surface level. Opus especially goes off the rails in the third act. Mark Anthony Green, making his feature directing debut after serving as a writer for GQ magazine, throws all sorts of violent and crazy imagery at the audience, but there's nothing shocking about any of it. The attempts at dark humor fall flat, and the plot just gets more and more ridiculous. The rest of the film was just sort of ordinary, but this is an example of how much an underwhelming climax can drag things down and make the flaws of the overall film more apparent. Opus had the potential to tackle subjects like cults and celebrity worship, but it's a disappointingly empty exploration of those topics. Despite the best efforts of the actors, the characters are all one-dimensional with not much individual personality, and only Edebiri comes out somewhat unscathed. It just becomes a wait for something interesting to happen beyond the usual cult trappings, but everything feels underdeveloped, and Opus works as neither a dark comedy, nor a thriller, nor a horror film. There have been a lot of films recently that attempt to satirize the eccentricities of rich people, and this probably sits as among the weakest of the bunch.